Okay, real quick. Hi, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Lindsay, and this is Lindsay Speaks. And yeah, I'm really glad you're here right now. All right, let's get into it. So, if there's one thing I know, yes, I do, it's that if this video found you, it wasn't random, like at all. Babe, that's true. The universe has been acting a little unhinged lately, okay? It's straight up hijacking the algorithm, moving things around behind the scenes just to put certain messages in front of certain people and you. Yeah, you're one of them. I can feel that so clearly because the energy coming off you right now is intense in a quiet way, but intense. I'm getting this feeling like you're not where you used to be anymore, but you're also not fully where you're going yet. And that space right there, that's huge, that's powerful, that's uncomfortable, and that's exactly where big shifts happen. I'm seeing you almost like imagine you were standing on one platform your whole life. Same view, same people, same patterns, and then suddenly, without a big announcement, without fireworks, you stepped onto a moving train. And now everything outside the window looks different, but you're still you. That's what this feels like. A quiet but massive change. I'm really feeling that you jumped timelines, and I know that sounds wild, but stay with me. Energetically, it's like you made a decision without even realizing how big it was. Maybe you chose yourself. Maybe you walked away from something that drained you. Maybe you stopped explaining yourself, or maybe you just changed on the inside. But that one shift, it moved you into a whole new lane. And here's the thing, I'm feeling that people around you can feel it too, even if they don't have words for it. They're confused. They're like, something's different about you, but they can't put their finger on it. You don't respond the same, you don't react the same. Things that used to bother you don't hit the same anymore. And the stuff that used to feel normal, now it feels off, heavy, too loud, too small. It's like your soul upgraded, but your surroundings didn't get the memo yet. I'm seeing the things that once fit into your life just not clicking anymore. And it's not because they're bad, it's because you outgrew them. Like trying to wear shoes you had when you were a kid. They might have been great back then, but now they just hurt. And that's what this phase is showing you. I'm also feeling this quiet pause around you, almost like the universe told everything to hold still for a second. And I know that can feel scary, it can feel lonely, it can feel like, why is nothing moving? But this pause isn't punishment, it's placement. It's the moment right before things snap into alignment. And you're meant to really be here right now, to notice how much you've changed, to notice what no longer feels right, to notice how your intuition is louder than it used to be. I'm getting that you felt this coming for a while, months, maybe longer, that feeling like something's about to happen. I don't know what, but I know I'm not staying the same. Yeah, that your life isn't just shifting, it's rerouting. Like the universe took one look at where you were headed and said, nope, there's a better way. And everything that can come with you, it's not falling away because you failed. It's falling away because it literally can't survive where you're going next. If this is hitting, I want you to drop. I already left that timeline in the comments, like, say it the way you'd look, someone dead in the eyes, and let them know they can't reach you anymore. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay with me. We're just getting started. So where I want to take this next is right here because this part is important. I'm getting this really strong visual and I need you to hear this slowly. It's like you didn't walk out of your old life. You didn't plan it. You didn't announce it. You didn't even fully understand it when it was happening. It's more like you glitched out of a timeline that literally couldn't hold you anymore. I'm seeing it like this. Imagine a video game where the character suddenly moves too fast for the map. The background can't load in time and everything just kind of breaks for a second. That's what this feels like. Your growth outpaced your environment, your energy moved faster than the reality you were in. So the universe did what it had to do. It shifted you. And here's the thing, I don't feel like this happened overnight. I'm getting that this started way earlier than you think. Maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe even before that. But something in you quietly changed. Your tolerance dropped, your awareness sharpened. Things you used to accept just stopped making sense, and you might not have said anything out loud, but internally, you were done. I'm feeling like you crossed some invisible line, and once you did, there was no going back. That version of you, the one who stayed quiet, the one who waited, the one who kept shrinking to make things work, that version cannot exist where you are now. That's why when you look back, parts of your old life feel blurry, like, did that even happen to me? Why does that feel so far away? This is because you are not in the same timeline you started this year in. Energetically, you're not. I'm getting that some of you might still be in the same place physically, same job, same city, same routine. But inside, a completely different person. Your nervous system is different, your reactions are different, your standards are different, your silence even sounds different now. And I'm also picking up that this shift didn't come with applause. It came with confusion, maybe isolation, maybe that weird feeling of, why do I feel disconnected from things I used to care so much about? And I want you to know that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means something finally clicked. I'm seeing you standing between two doors, one behind you that's already closing, even if you keep looking back at it, and one in front of you that hasn't fully opened yet. And this in-between space, that's where you're learning to trust yourself without proof. That's where you're learning to move without validation. That's where you realize you don't need permission anymore. I'm also getting that people around you might still be treating you like the old version of you, talking to you like you're the same, expecting the same responses, and it feels off, almost irritating. Because, even if you can't explain it, you're not there anymore. You can't go back to that frequency. It would feel like lying to yourself. This timeline jump you made, it wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. It was internal, but it was final. And now everything in your life has to slowly catch up to who you already became. And as we keep going, you're going to understand why certain people fell away, why certain doors closed without warning, and why your life feels quieter but heavier at the same time, because what's happening next builds directly on this shift you already made. And this is where things start to feel really obvious, even if you haven't said it out loud yet. I'm getting this very clear feeling that your old life can't even touch your vibration anymore. Not because it was bad, not because it was wrong, but because it's too small for who you are now. I keep seeing this image of you trying to carry something that once felt manageable, but now it just feels heavy. Not emotionally dramatic heavy, just dense, draining, like your body knows before your mind does. Things that used to feel normal now feel like they take effort in a way they didn't before. Conversations feel forced, places feel loud, routines feel dull. And you're sitting there thinking, why does this suddenly feel so uncomfortable? It's because your energy outgrew it. I'm really feeling that you're not rejecting your past. You're not angry at it. You're not trying to burn it down. You're just no longer a match for it. And that's a very different thing. It's like when you're a kid and you love a certain toy, and then one day you pick it up and it just doesn't do anything for you anymore. Nothing bad happened. You just grew. Your vibration changed. I'm getting that some of you tried to go back for a second, like you tested it. You went back to old habits, old people, old ways of thinking just to see. And the universe was like, see, still doesn't fit. And it felt obvious, almost uncomfortable, almost awkward, like trying to squeeze back into a version of yourself that doesn't exist anymore. This is why everything feels heavier now when it's misaligned. Your tolerance for what's not right has dropped dramatically. Your soul doesn't have the patience it used to. And that can feel scary because the old life was familiar, it was predictable, you knew how to survive there. But the new vibration you're in, it requires honesty, it requires presence, it requires you to stop pretending. I'm also feeling that you might be confusing this with boredom or restlessness, but it's not that. It's resonance. You're no longer tuned to the same station. So when you try to listen, all you hear is static. And your system is like, nope, we can't live here anymore. This is especially strong when it comes to people. I'm getting that some relationships feel off, not dramatic, just flat or tiring, or like you're playing a role you don't remember agreeing to. And it doesn't mean those people are bad. It just means they're still operating at a frequency you've already passed through. I'm seeing you walk into rooms and feel like you're watching everything from a distance, like you're there, but not fully there. And that's because your energy already moved on. Your body just hasn't caught up yet. And here's the part I really want you to hear. This heaviness is not a sign you're going backwards. It's a sign you're done pretending something fits when it doesn't. The discomfort is actually your alignment system working properly. It's telling you this isn't where you belong anymore. I'm getting that the universe is making it harder to stay where you've outgrown. Things that used to be easy now take effort. Things that used to flow now stall. Not as punishment, but as redirection. It's like the universe quietly removed the padding, so you can feel the truth clearly. You're also not meant to rush this. I'm feeling that this phase is about noticing, observing, letting yourself admit what no longer resonates without immediately needing a solution. This is the stage where clarity forms, where you start to understand what your new baseline actually is. And yeah, it can feel lonely because when your vibration changes, not everyone can come with you. Some people only knew the old version of you. Some environments were built around who you used to be. And that doesn't make them wrong. It just makes them incompatible. I'm seeing that your system is craving simplicity now. Peace, space, things that feel clean and real. You're less interested in noise, less interested in proving, less interested in explaining. You just want to exist in a way that doesn't drain you. This is what happens when you move into a higher alignment. The old life doesn't fall apart dramatically, it just slowly loses access to you. And as we keep going, you're going to understand why certain people can't reach you the same way anymore, why your reactions have changed, and why others seem confused by the version of you that's emerging now. Because this vibration shift is already changing how the world responds to you. And this is the part people don't talk about enough. I'm really feeling that others around you are low-key freaking out right now. Not in an obvious way, not necessarily saying anything out loud, but internally, yeah, they can't read you anymore. And that bothers them more than they want to admit. I'm getting this energy like you used to be predictable to them. They knew how you'd respond. They knew which buttons to push, which version of you would show up, what role you would play in their life. And now that script is gone. They're looking at you like, wait, who even are you now? And they don't like that feeling. Your energy feels unpredictable to them, but not chaotic. It's not messy. It's not unstable. It's actually very calm, very grounded, and that's what throws them off, because calm confidence with no explanation, that's unsettling for people who rely on control or familiarity. I'm seeing them trying to read you the way they used to, or watching your tone, your expressions, your timing, and nothing is landing. It's like the signals they used to pick up are scrambled now. And instead of adapting, a lot of them are just confused. Some of you might notice people asking you more questions lately, or making little comments, or jokingly saying things like, you've changed, or you're so quiet now, or what's going on with you? And on the surface, it sounds casual, but energetically, they're trying to recalibrate. They're trying to figure out where they stand with you now. Because the truth is, you're no longer leaking your energy the way you used to. You're not over-explaining. You're not reacting emotionally. You're not filling silence just to, make others comfortable. And that absence of emotional noise, it's loud. I'm getting that some people are mistaking this for distance or coldness or even arrogance, but it's none of that. It's presence. You're more centered in yourself now. You're responding instead of reacting. You're choosing when to speak. And for people who were used to having access to your emotions at all times, that feels like a loss of control. I'm also seeing that you're not trying to be mysterious. You're not playing games. You're not intentionally withholding. You're just not available in the same way anymore. Your inner world is no longer an open book. And that's because you finally learned how valuable it is. There's this energy around you now that says, I don't need to be understood by everyone. And that's new for you. I'm feeling that before you really cared about being seen correctly. You wanted to be understood. You wanted to explain yourself so people wouldn't misunderstand your intentions. But something shifted. You realized that no amount of explaining ever really gave you peace. So you stopped. And now people are left with their own projections. I'm seeing some of them trying to fit you into old categories, old labels, old versions, and it's not working. You don't respond the same. You don't validate the same dynamics. You don't play along with expectations that don't align with you anymore. And that's why they feel like they're losing their footing around you. Your energy has boundaries now, not loud ones, not aggressive ones, but energetic ones. And that's powerful because boundaries that don't need defending are the strongest kind. I'm also getting that this is happening in subtle ways. Like people might talk around you instead of to you, or they might act slightly different, or they might test you, saying something they know used to get a reaction just to see if it still works. And when it doesn't, that's when the confusion really sets in. Because you're no longer feeding patterns that drained you. And I want you to hear this clearly. Their confusion is not your responsibility. You didn't become unreadable. You became self-contained. You stopped broadcasting every thought, every feeling, every wound. You brought your energy home. I'm seeing you as someone who now feels neutral where you used to feel reactive, calm where you used to feel anxious, detached where you used to feel overly invested. And that's not because you care less, it's because you care differently. Your presence feels stronger now, quieter but stronger. And that kind of energy forces people to confront themselves. Some will feel drawn to you in a new way. Others will feel unsettled. Both reactions are information. You're no longer here to be easily read. You're here to be real. And as we keep going, you're going to understand why this unreadable energy is actually protecting you, refining your circle, and setting the stage for the next level you're stepping into. Because the people who can meet you here will feel it immediately. And the ones who can't, they were never meant to follow you this far anyway. And that brings me to this part because this is something I'm really, really feeling strongly about you. Your energy jumped, but your identity didn't. And that's why this whole experience feels so strange sometimes. You still feel like you. You wake up as the same person, same humor, same heart, same core. But everything inside you has upgraded in a way that's hard to explain. I'm getting this image like you didn't become someone else. You just became a clearer version of yourself. Like when a phone updates overnight, you open it in the morning, it looks the same, but suddenly it runs smoother. Things load faster, certain apps don't glitch anymore, some features you didn't even know were. They are now active, that's you. You didn't lose yourself, you didn't reinvent your personality, you didn't abandon who you were. You just stopped operating from outdated software. And this is important because I feel like part of you keeps checking yourself, almost like, am I different? Am I being weird? Am I acting out of character? And the answer is no. You're actually more in character than you've ever been. You're just no longer performing a version of yourself that was shaped by survival, people-pleasing, or fear. I'm really feeling that the old you was running on coping mechanisms. The new you is running on clarity. That's why things feel quieter inside your head. That's why your reactions are slower. That's why you don't feel the need to jump in, fix, explain, or defend the way you used to. It's not that you don't care, it's that your nervous system finally feels safe enough to pause. I'm seeing that your values didn't change, they refined. You still care deeply, you still feel deeply, you still love deeply, but now there's discernment there, there's choice, there's an internal yes and no that actually means something. And that's new for you. I'm also getting that you might be grieving old versions of yourself a little. Not in a dramatic way, just small moments where you think, wow, I would have handled that so differently before, or I don't even recognize who I was back then. And that doesn't mean that version was wrong. It means it did its job. It got you here. You didn't erase your past, you integrated it. Your energy jumped because you finally stopped fighting who you are. I'm really feeling that, like there was a moment, maybe quiet, maybe painful, maybe relieving, where you stop trying to be more digestible, more agreeable, more understandable, and you just let yourself be. And the universe responded immediately. That's why the shift feels fast. That's why things started falling away without long explanations. That's why some doors closed without conversations, because once you align internally, the external doesn't need convincing. I'm also seeing that your sense of self feels stronger now, even if your life feels uncertain. Like you might not have all the answers yet, but you trust yourself in a way you didn't before. And that's huge. That's the upgrade. Your identity didn't disappear, it stabilized, and that's why people feel like they don't know you anymore, even though you feel more like yourself than ever. They were used to interacting with the version of you that adapted to them, not the version that stands on its own. I'm getting this very clear feeling that you're no longer shape-shifting to fit environments, you're letting environments reveal whether they fit you. And that's a completely different way of living. This is also why you might feel a little protective of your energy lately. Not guarded, just selective. You don't want to over-explain. You don't want to overshare. You don't want to open yourself up just to be misunderstood. And that's not fear, that's wisdom. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to the upgraded version of you. I'm seeing you moving slower, but with more intention. Saying less, but meaning more. Choosing quality over quantity, in conversations, in relationships, in everything. And even if you can't fully articulate what changed, you feel it in your body. Your shoulders might feel lighter, your chest might feel calmer, your intuition might feel clearer. These are signs that your energy is aligned with your identity instead of fighting it. And here's something I really want you to hear. You don't need to announce this version of yourself. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify why you're different. The people who are meant to recognize you will feel it instantly. And the ones who don't, they're still responding to who you used to be. Your job right now isn't to correct them, it's to stay anchored in who you are becoming. Because as we move forward, you're going to see how this internal upgrade starts changing the way opportunities find you, the way people approach you, and the way life itself starts responding to your presence. And that's where things get really interesting. Because this next part, this one can sting a little. I'm really feeling that you're outgrowing people you never thought you'd outgrow. And I don't mean random connections. I mean people you assumed would always be there. People you pictured in future versions of your life. People you made space for, adjusted for, stayed longer for than you probably should have. I'm getting this heavy but quiet emotional energy around you. Like you're not angry, you're not dramatic about it, you're just noticing that certain conversations don't land the same, noticing that certain people don't really see you anymore, or maybe they never did, and now you can't unsee that. And I want to say this clearly, this doesn't make you cold, it makes you honest. I'm seeing that some of these connections were built around who you used to be. The version of you that explained more, gave more, bent more. That version of you held a lot of things together for other people. You were the glue, you were the safe place, you were the one who understood even when you weren't understood back. But now, your energy doesn't automatically step into that role anymore. And because of that, the dynamic can't survive the same way. I'm really feeling that the universe is gently and sometimes not so gently creating distance, not always through conflict, sometimes through silence, through missed calls, through conversations that fade instead of explode. And that can feel confusing because part of you wonders, did I do something wrong? No, you didn't. What you did was grow. And growth doesn't always look like expansion outward. Sometimes it looks like subtraction, like realizing you can't carry everyone with you, like understanding that some people were only meant to walk with you through a certain version of your life, not the whole thing. I'm seeing you feel torn at times. One part of you understands this on a soul level. Another part of you misses the familiarity, the shared history, the comfort of knowing how things used to be. And both of those feelings can exist at the same time. You don't have to villainize anyone to outgrow them. This is emotional because you're not leaving people behind out of ego. You're being moved forward out of alignment. I'm getting that some of these people might try to hold on, not aggressively, subtly, with guilt, with nostalgia, with reminders of how things used to be. And you might feel that pull so because you care, because you remember, because you're human. But your body knows, your energy knows. You can't go back to shrinking yourself just to keep access to people who can't meet you where you are now. I'm also seeing that some people are falling away simply because they don't know how to relate to this version of you. You're calmer, more self contained, less reactive. And for people who thrived on emotional closeness through chaos or constant reassurance, this feels like distance, even if you're still showing up authentically. And that's hard because you didn't change to hurt anyone. You changed to survive, to heal, to be real. I'm feeling that the universe is acting like a filter right now. Not punishing you, not isolating you, just refining your environment so it matches your new frequency. And yeah, it can feel lonely at times because when old connections fade before new ones arrive, there's a gap. But that gap, it's sacred. It's the space where you learn who you are without certain people defining you. It's where you stop performing roles and start living from truth. It's where your energy settles into itself. I'm also getting that you might feel misunderstood during this phase, like people are interpreting your growth as distance or disinterest or superiority. And that can hurt, especially if you know how much you've loved, supported, and stayed. But here's the truth I'm really feeling for you. The people meant to grow with you won't require you to go backward to stay connected. Some connections are seasonal, some are transitional, and some only exist to teach you how deeply you're capable of loving, not how long someone gets to stay. This isn't about cutting people off, it's about letting go of the idea that everyone you love is meant to come with you into every chapter. I'm seeing you learning to trust this process more now. Learning that distance doesn't always mean loss. Sometimes it means protection. Sometimes it means preparation. Sometimes it means the universe is making room for people who can actually see you, meet you, and walk beside you without needing you to shrink. And as we move forward, you're going to start noticing how this clearing, on as painful as it can feel, is making space for deeper connections, cleaner energy, and relationships that don't require you to abandon yourself, because what's coming next depends on the room you're finally allowing yourself to have. And this is exactly why your intuition is so loud right now. Like, loud. The kind you can't ignore even if you try. I'm really feeling that for you. It's not subtle anymore. It's not a whisper. It's not a maybe. It's more like your inner voice has a megaphone and it's tired of being polite. I'm seeing signs everywhere around you. Little things, repeating numbers, random messages that hit way too close, songs that come on at the exact right moment, dreams that feel more real than when you're awake. And you might be brushing it off like, okay, that's weird. But deep down, you know, this isn't random. The universe is being very direct with you right now. I'm getting the feeling that before, your intuition used to speak up and you'd second guess it. You'd talk yourself out of it. You'd ask other people what they thought. You'd wait for proof. But now, you don't have the patience for that anymore. Your body reacts before your mind even catches up. You feel things instantly now. A yes feels clean. A no feels heavy. And there's no middle ground like there used to be. I'm seeing you wake up some days already knowing what kind of day it's going to be, or knowing who's going to reach out, or knowing when something is about to end or begin before it actually does. And that can feel a little unsettling, especially if you're someone who likes logic or plans or control. But this isn't about control. This is about alignment. Your intuition is loud because you finally created space to hear it. When your life was crowded with noise, people, expectations, emotional labor, your inner voice had to compete. Now that things are quieter, it echoes. Yeah, I'm also getting that some of you might be doubting this at times, like, am I overthinking or am I imagining this? And I need you to hear this clearly. Intuition doesn't sound frantic. It sounds calm. It sounds neutral. It sounds like a simple knowing that doesn't need convincing, and that's what you're experiencing. And I'm seeing that the universe is using repetition with you right now. Same message, different form, over and over until you stop ignoring it. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because there's something important ahead and you're being guided toward it step by step. This might be guidance about people, like about where to go, about what to stop forcing, about what to finally let go of, or about something you're meant to begin, even if you don't know how yet. I'm feeling that your intuition is strongest when you're alone, in the quiet, late at night, early in the morning, when you're not distracted, and that's not an accident. That's when your soul has room to speak without interruption. You're also becoming more sensitive to energy. You can feel when something is off even if no one says anything. You can sense when someone's intentions don't match their words. And you can feel when something is aligned long before it makes sense on paper. This is why you can't unsee things anymore. Once your intuition turns up the volume, there's no going back to pretending you don't know. I'm also getting that this loud intuition is connected to everything you've already released. The people, the patterns, the old versions of you. Once that cleared out, your inner guidance system recalibrated is sharper now, faster, more accurate. And yeah, that means you can't stay in situations that don't feel right just because they're familiar. Your intuition won't let you. It'll create discomfort, restlessness, that I need to get out of here feeling. Not to punish you, but to move you. I'm seeing that you're being guided toward simplicity right now, toward choices that feel light, toward paths that don't require convincing or struggle. And when something requires too much effort to maintain, your intuition flags it immediately. And this is new for you and powerful. Like you're learning to trust what you feel without needing validation. You're learning that clarity doesn't always come with a full explanation. Sometimes it just comes with a direction. And here's the thing I really want you to understand. The universe isn't yelling at you because you're behind. It's being loud because you're ready. Ready to listen, ready to act, ready to move without fear running the show. As we keep going, you're going to see how this heightened intuition starts guiding you toward exactly the right opportunities, exactly the right connections, and exactly the right timing, even when it doesn't look logical at first. Because the next phase of your life is being built through what you feel, not what you force. And this is where it all starts to make sense. I'm really feeling that the universe cleared space around you on purpose. Not randomly, not to hurt you, not to punish you, but so you could finally move. I'm seeing this so clearly. It's like you were trying to walk forward with your arms full, carrying responsibilities that weren't yours. Carrying people who leaned on you instead of walking beside you, carrying expectations, roles, habits, even identities that once made sense, but slowly became weights. And the universe was like, you can't take all of that where you're going. So things started getting removed. At first, it probably didn't feel like help. It felt like loss, like confusion, like, why is everything falling apart at the same time? I'm getting that moment for you where it felt like multiple areas of your life were being stripped down at once, and you might have thought, what did I do wrong? But the truth is, nothing. You were just finally ready to move, and momentum needed space. I'm really feeling that everything that left your life recently, people, routines, situations, even certain dreams, was blocking forward movement. Not because they were bad, but because they belonged to an old chapter that had already expired. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to redecorate a room without moving the furniture out first. You can't see the floor, you can't reach the walls, you can't bring in anything new. Clearing space isn't destruction, it's preparation. And the universe is ruthless about preparation. I'm getting that for some of you, the clearing felt sudden, like doors slammed shut without explanation, like plans dissolved, like stability turned shaky, and it messed with your sense of control. But what you didn't see at the time is that the universe was removing friction, resistance, drag, because you're meant to move faster now. I'm also feeling this deep truth for you. You're not losing. You're leveling up so fast it feels like everything is collapsing. And that's a really uncomfortable place to be because externally it looks like chaos, but internally something feels right. Scary, but right. I'm seeing you standing in a space that feels empty, but also open. Like you don't know what's next yet, but you know you couldn't stay where you were. And that knowing, that's alignment. This clearing created room for clarity, room for choice, room for movement that isn't forced. You're no longer stuck managing other people's emotions, expectations, or needs. You're not constantly putting out fires or holding things together just to keep the peace. The universe took the weight off your back so you could finally stand up straight. And I'm getting that once the dust settles, even just a little, you're going to realize how much lighter you feel, how much more energy you have, how decisions feel easier now that you're not factoring in everyone else. That's momentum returning. I'm also feeling that this clearing wasn't just external, some of it was internal. Old fears, old narratives, old beliefs about what you should do or who you should be. Those started dissolving too. And when internal blocks fall away, external movement accelerates. You're entering a phase where things will start responding to you differently. Opportunities will come without struggle. Doors will open without chasing. People will meet you halfway instead of pulling you backward. But only because there's finally room for them to arrive. I know part of you still looks at what was lost, still wonders if it had to happen this way, still grieves the familiarity, and that's okay. You're human. You're allowed to miss things that no longer fit. But I'm seeing that the universe didn't clear your life to leave you empty. It cleared it so you could actually move. Not in circles, not in hesitation, but forward. And as this momentum builds, you're going to notice how quickly things start shifting, how suddenly paths appear, how timing improves, how life feels less like resistance and more like response. This isn't the collapse of your life, it's the reorganization of it. And what's coming next is going to require the space you just made, even if you don't fully see why yet. Because right now, I'm really feeling that you're being pulled toward a version of yourself that's been waiting for you for a long time. Not a brand new you, not some fake, polished, better version, but the real one. The one that's always been there under the noise, the pressure, the adapting, the surviving. I'm getting this sense like the highest timeline for you is already active. It's not something you need to create from scratch. It already exists. You're just catching up to it now. And that's why everything feels so intense, so emotional, so real all at once. It's like life sped up internally before it sped up externally. I'm seeing you being gently, and sometimes not so gently, nudged in certain directions toward choices that feel truer, toward paths that feel unfamiliar but right, toward a version of yourself that doesn't need permission anymore. And you might feel a little nervous about that because this version of you doesn't play small, doesn't over-explain, doesn't wait to be chosen. This version chooses itself. I'm also feeling that you've had glimpses of this version before. Little moments where you felt confident, calm, sure. Moments where you thought, this feels like me. But life pulled you back into old patterns, responsibilities, expectations, fear, and now. Now, those things don't have the same grip on you. That's why this feels like rebirth energy, not glow-up energy. Glow-ups are about appearance, about proving, about showing something off. This is internal. This is cellular. This is you shedding layers that were never really yours to begin with. And rebirth doesn't feel pretty while it's happening. It feels raw, uncertain, quietly powerful. I'm seeing you slowly aligning with what actually matters to you. Not what impressed others, not what kept the peace, not what earned approval, but what feels right in your body, in your gut, in your chest. And that's new. This pull you're feeling isn't forcing you, it's inviting you. It's like a subtle tug that says, come this way. And even when you hesitate, even when you doubt yourself, something inside you keeps moving forward anyway. Because you're done abandoning yourself. I'm also getting that this version of you doesn't need to rush. There's a calm confidence here, a sense of I know who I am becoming, even if I don't know exactly how it unfolds yet. And that kind of trust, that's powerful. You're not late. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't mess it up. You're arriving exactly when you were meant to. And as you continue to catch up to this highest timeline, this truest version of you, you're going to notice how much lighter life feels when you stop resisting who you are. Because the more you align with this version, the more everything else starts aligning with you too.